sun is rising. I hear hope calling out from behind the shadows. Joy is on its way. I hear something breaking, the sound of what once was a somber hidden smile is rising up again, challenging everything in me, poking holes in what I once believed, and everything I used to be doesn't harm me anymore. You gave me something different to see, the calm after the storm. Hope is rising. Hope is a new song's emerging. I hear words coming out of my mouth that I've never heard before. I hear your voice calling out my name and beckoning that I cut ties with the past that's dead and gone. And everything I used to be doesn't harm me anymore. You gave me something different to see, the calm after the storm, and everything I used to be doesn't harm me anymore. You gave me something different to see, the calm after the It's been a long time, I'm saving all my love for you. It's been a while, can you tell me what to do? It's been a long time, I can't stop.
Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Everyone happy? Look Mom, I'm on YouTube. Mr. Moo, Spick and Span, Emir, is that how you say your name? Is it Emir? Frank, Connor, welcome. Pressure washing ASMR. I almost did the video I put up today. I almost called it ASMR, but then I changed my mind. I even made a thumbnail That's what I made, look. But then I changed my mind last minute. What did I do instead? That's what I did instead. Not sure which one's better. I don't know. Connor, I'm very well, thank you. I am very good. Thanks, guys. Send you the picture on the messenger of the job we... Yeah, I just read your message. I just saw it. Although I couldn't get it up very big on my phone, on the computer. I'll have another look now. Let's have a look together. Together. Is she out of bed again? How's the volume, guys? First of all, can I just have you guys to bear witness to this? It says here, read that, see what it says. No copyright, safe for YouTube. Every single time I've streamed, my stream's been like muted in certain places and like demonetized and stuff. So fingers crossed this one doesn't. All good here, having fun watching your vids, learnt a great deal. That's really good to know, Craig. I'm glad you're learning some stuff. I'm pleased about that. Finally caught a live stream. What's going on, J&M? You alright? It's my daughter's channel. I use it to monitor what she goes on, but I'm using it more than her. Irish name pronounced Ema. Ema. Or Emma. Or Ema. It's probably Ema, isn't it? That's a good idea with kids' YouTube channels. I caught my little boy, he's 8. I caught him watching some very strange children's content. Seemed to be a lot of girls in bikinis for some reason. Doing bath challenges. Not really what I want my 8-year-old watching. Your last video was the best with no music and no talking. Really? I wondered what people would think of that. I didn't know whether... I thought I'd give it a go because I've had a couple of comments in the past saying that they just want to hear the noise of the pressure washer and stuff. So I thought it was the right time. To be honest, the reason I did it is because I've had a very busy weekend and I've had no time for editing. And so it was a really easy video just to put together. Didn't have to do a voiceover. Didn't have to do any music. Not that I do music anyway, but... I've actually come prepared this week. I've got my little list of talking points. And I've already So last week, I wanted to do a quote with you guys. But the problem I found was that I didn't want to expose the customer's address and stuff. And so this week, I've actually taken screenshots from Google Earth. And I've saved it all in this little folder down here, look, stream quotes. So we can have a look at that together. We can do the quote together, come up with a price. It's actually an old friend. Went to see him the other day. And literally, as I pulled up onto his drive, I got a flat tire on the van. See if I can show you. You're probably not going to be able to see this very well, but look at that. Totally flat. And I think it's just because I ran the pressure so low. It needed pumping up for a long time, and it finally got low enough where it started eating itself. I have a question. Ask away. You need to say something. You reckon you prefer the videos with some voiceover, do you? New video is very chill. Did you sand it? I haven't sanded it. I literally only did it on Sunday, yesterday. So I'll be back later in the week to sand it. Did a massive one today. My shoulders are killing me. My elbow. Oh, how's the volume? Music to microphone ratio. Can someone let me know? Are we about right? Because I watched the stream back last week and the music, in some places the music was really loud. I don't know. I've actually got the microphone turned around the right way. Last week it was around that way. I don't know if you can hear much of a difference if I spin the microphone around like that. Did that change anything? Live testing. I like the info that comes with your videos. Very helpful for someone starting out. That's the intention. So I'm glad you find it useful. All good, thanks mate. Been watching your videos for a while now, has been working on starting up myself in Cornwall. Congratulations. Just working out the pricing for this area. Yeah, that's a learning curve really. It depends on whereabouts you are. In the UK, it depends what people are charging around you, because you don't necessarily want to be the most expensive in the area, do you? But at the same time, you need to charge what you're worth, so it's difficult. We're jet washing. Hi mate, don't know if you see my comment on your video. I did. What was the orange nozzle used for rinsing? It looked really powerful on the video that you uploaded today. So that was it's a specifically designed rinse down nozzle, and for those of you that haven't seen the video, let's pull it up. I need YouTube Premium, don't I really? Watching all these adverts on stream. So this was suggested to me. I normally just use the 25-degree fan tip, the standard ones that comes with the pressure washer. This is specifically designed for rinsing down. So it's got a big enough nozzle, like a big enough hole, where it's still letting a lot of water through. But the water it's letting through is still at low pressure. So it's not super strong PSI where it's just blasting everything everywhere. It's low pressure, but it's high flow, if that makes sense. So you're pushing out a lot more water, and it's at like the perfect fan spread, and you can just push all the sand. Like the other little 25-degree fan tip, if I try and push sand with that, it's just spraying up everywhere. It's just flicking all over the place. But with this nozzle, you can actually push stuff. It's really, really useful. I also made a basic van setup video and gave you a mention, as your videos have been a lot of help. Oh, that's really kind. I'll see if you can tag me in it or something so I can check it after the stream. Thanks, mate. My Hyundai pressure washer broke down. I bought another one from Hyundai just to receive it. Just received it, and it takes 10 pulls to start and then jumps all over the place when I'm using it. I'm returning it. That's I was looking at the Hyundai ones. Yeah, that's not something you want to see, is it? I mean, for a similar price, I'm sure you can get one from Equip to Clean, which is where I got mine from. And it's had its issues, but I mean, I've been going for over 12 months with it now, and I've had some reliability issues, but I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it has. 15 litres per minute. I think it's like 250 bar. I was literally pressure washing today from 9 till 2. Non-stop pressure washing. I stopped once for like 10 minutes for a coffee. Yeah, try Equip to Clean. If you're on a budget, try Equip to Clean. If you've got a bit of money to spend, I'd recommend going to one of the big boys. AC Pressure Washing, Stafford, the guys at Precious Pressure Washing, or you could go to Evesham Sales and Service. I don't know if Rutland Pumps sell pressure washers. I know they sell pumps and parts and stuff, but yeah, get a Honda. If you've got some money to spend, get a Honda engine, because it'll last you forever. Sounds good to me. Good. Sounds good. Good. I like the variety. Big fan of the voiceovers, as it feels like we're along for the journey. I also like it when you answer some questions during the videos. Thanks for noticing that. I was thinking, rather than spending my day going through and answering everyone individually, a lot of the time it's questions I've answered before as well. So rather than keep answering the same questions over and over again, I thought I could cover them as part of videos and especially when there's no audio. So when I do the long time lapses, there's no audio in that footage. It's like a specific setting on my phone. If I do like a long video and then just speed it up, you'll have like sped up audio. But if I do a time lapse, there's no audio, and so then I've got to either play music over it, which I don't like doing because I'm tight and I don't want to pay for like copyright licenses and stuff, or I think of something to say and like voice over it. So it's a really good time to like answer some of your guys' questions. Thanks for the feedback, by the way. That's good to know. That nozzle is like a water broom. That's exactly how I described it, as a water broom when it was in my last video, I think, before that one. I said it's literally like a water broom. AJ Pressure Cleaning Services, welcome. I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing? Your video on making my own buffer tank, I followed it step by step. Perfect. Nice. You're another one. I wonder how many people have actually... I should have put at the end of that video, I should have said, if you end up doing this and it works well for you, let me know in the comments, because the amount of people that have messaged me afterwards and said, oh, I've done your buffer tank video, it's perfect, I can't believe how much of an improvement it's made and all that sort of stuff. It'd be cool to get the numbers on it. You know what I was going to do? And this is just like my sort of entrepreneurial mindset taking over. Sometimes I try to do too much, and I try and like, even now I'm thinking of like business opportunities and stuff. But I was thinking with that buffer tank, VTuff sell one for 400 quid for virtually the same product that I made for 89 quid. I was thinking, do I make my own and sell it as like under the Smelt brand, make like a separate business entity, or keep it within Smelt's Pressure Washing, or whatever, and you know, make 50-60 quid on like profit on each one, but still sell them cheap enough where it's affordable for most people? Or do I put a video out and just show people how to do it themselves? Because I did a hell of a lot of research for that video, and I would rather people sort of understand it and have the knowledge. And maybe I will still make them in the future. Maybe I'll do something in the future with it. But I thought it'd be disingenuous to pretend that they're like this item that you've got to have special knowledge to create or to build. I think it's better to give the people the information and then also say, by the way, you can also buy them here. You can either make it yourself for £89, or you can buy it from me pre-made for £140 or something, and you're still saving a lot of money compared to some of the others that are out there. Don't know, thought it was interesting, because that's what I was going to do. I was literally looking at bulk ordering. I was looking at somewhere to store like 20 buffer tanks, 20 wheelie bins. I was going to offer all different sizes, all different colours. I was going to get some stickers made with my logo on there to stick on the front. I was going to go all out. I was literally thinking, I can do this. but then I just made the video instead. How are you, Shag? I'm very well, thanks, mate. Look at everyone coming back, by the way. We've got all the... It's really nice to see you all, the guys that were like in the first streams. I think I've only done 4 now. But you guys keep coming back every time, and I really appreciate seeing your names in the chat every time I stream. It's really nice. Evolution pressure washers. Yeah, I think they use Honda engines and what are the pumps called? Interpumps. If it's got a Honda engine and an interpump, chances are it's a very well made machine. But they are more on the expensive side. You're looking at paying about £2,000 for something like that. Can you show me your pressure washer on the website you bought it from? Sure. This is the one I've got. Cheaper than when I bought it. So essentially, just so that you're fully aware, no shade on this company whatsoever. I used to promote their products. I used to have affiliate links in my YouTube descriptions, and after some slightly dodgy customer service from them, and after a few of my basically the pump failed, the pump started leaking oil. I got a new one from them and it arrived damaged. And then I bought a gutter vacuum that wasn't as described, and there's a few things that I just couldn't ignore, and they ended up calling me and saying, like, you're making videos about our products and they're not highlighting obviously the best parts about them. I try and make honest videos, and so we ended up just sort of going our separate ways. But I still respect the fact that they can offer an industrial, like a commercial style machine for that kind of money. Like that is really cheap. And if you're looking to just get going, yeah, I've been going 12 months with this and it's been fantastic. Like I said, I've had a fair amount of reliability issues. The one being this unloader has got a spring inside that keeps disintegrating, and then it goes through my high pressure hose, blocks my turbo nozzle. It blocked my surface cleaner the other day, and so I've had this whole section replaced with a different unloader valve, like a higher quality unloader valve basically, and that issue won't happen again. But I'd still recommend, if you're on a budget, I'd still recommend this to anyone, because it's less than half the price of what you'd pay for a similar machine made in the UK. Like, this is just a Chinese machine. This is why it's so cheap, basically. Craig, just started out nowhere near you. People always say that. Don't worry, mate, I'm not starting near you. I just need some advice. I don't mind if people... A lad I know has just started in my town and he's asking me for advice. One of my old mates. Done lots of freebies and non-paying customers. Spent money on flyers, Facebook adverts, and replied to requests for quotes, and nothing has materialised. Is this the norm? I wouldn't rely too heavily on flyers. In my experience these days, people want to look at sort of Facebook posts, like before and afters on Instagram and stuff. So if you're just getting going and you just want some work, I would recommend just posting before and after pictures on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you tag your location. If you want to boost your posts, make sure you're boosting them in your area rather than boosting them all over the UK. You might get more people, but your quotes are going to be, too far away. You want to target just your area. And it doesn't target just your area by default. You have to tell it to do it. And post on all the local sales pages as well if you're allowed. Some of them don't let you, but AJ, you're in Redditch, are you? I am based in Redditch, yeah. Where are you then? Stephen, good evening. Nice to be here. I also made my bin from your video. Nice. It's a weird legacy to have, that is. I remember Jake. I made his bin. I watched all his videos. At least I've left something behind if I die tomorrow. Girlfriend said today, guess you won't come with me tonight since Smelt's live again. Oh no. I'm breaking up relationships already. Oh god. That's crazy. I bought a twin rinse lance from Equip to Clean. Not worked since the day I bought it, and I'm having nothing but issues getting it returned or getting them to email me back. Just try and call them and badger them if you've got a product that doesn't work, and it's still within it. You know, it's 12-month warranty. Like it literally says there, 12 months warranty. You're well within your right to send it back. I've noticed as well the reviews. There's one of my reviews. Look, I have put. It seems that anything less than 5 stars, if you've got constructive feedback. God, that's what I used to have. Look, I used to have a not a compost bin. What is it? A water butt as a buffer tank. That was sketchy. That was. Anything less than 5-star reviews, and they don't seem to appear in the review section, which is suspect. Because I've posted a few less than 5-star reviews, and they are no longer on the website. After watching you for about a month, you inspired me to start my own pressure washing business. To start my own business. Got my first jobs booked in this weekend and next week. Connor, congratulations. That's really cool. That's really nice to hear. I hope it works out really well for you, mate. Work hard. Do a good job. Take lots of pictures. Be nice to your customers. Make sure they're nice to you. Don't let people lowball you. Don't let people disrespect you. And you'll be on to a winner. It's not easy. I bought the 2800 Kiam as new to all this, and it's serving me so well so far. Good. Hopefully, hopefully you don't have any issues with it. And I only started having issues, after many hours of use. So, and for that sort of price, I can't really complain. It is a bargain, really. I enjoy using it. It's a shame, it's a shame it's been let down by I think there's a design issue. There's a design flaw with that little shuttle spring, and when I brought it to their attention, they pushed back on me and said, no, this is actually something you're doing wrong. And so at that point I was like, okay, all right, well, we're gonna go that route, are we? I suppose. First job, basically the whole house. Any tips for cleaning render? I got a water fed brush, was planning to use Nuclear Pro. You've got it already, mate. That's perfect. Just be careful around things like LED flashing, because sodium hypochlorite and lead don't mix. You'll stain it. It'll react. Evening, Charlie. You're right. I'm in Greenland. Nice. I was wondering if I could come out with you for a day for free, so could learn a bit from you. I can be your Joey for the day. What's a Joey? We could potentially sort something out. The only thing I'd feel bad because I've had so many other people message me asking if they can come out and work with me for the day. I feel bad picking someone over someone else, do you know what I mean? And I'm a bit awkward around new people. I'm a bit socially spending the day with someone in my van and trying to pretend that I know what I'm doing so I can teach them stuff. I don't know. Might be slightly out of my comfort zone, but potentially in the future. I'd love to help you. Cobra Evolution. Yeah, I've heard of the Evolution brand. Is it AC pressure washers that sell those? I don't know. I don't know which would be the one to go for out of those two, mate. I'm sorry, I can't. I've only experienced this machine, and so you'd have to do some research on that, I'm afraid. I'm looking at getting a water tech starter kit from Rutland Pumps. Any views on the Briggs & Stratton V400 petrol engine? No. I have no idea. No experience with any other pressure washer other than the one I've got. And the one I had before this, which was just like a little baby petrol pressure washer. But I've heard that Briggs & Stratton are apparently built very well, so I don't think you'll have any problems with it. No worries, Connor. No worries, AJ. AJ, send me a DM on Facebook and we'll chat. Should I get more PSI or more LPM? In my experience, litres per minute matters more than pressure. I probably couldn't tell you the difference between like 200 bar or 250 bar. But I could probably tell you the difference between 15 litres per minute and 21 litres per minute. But again, like, I haven't really experienced anything other than what I've got, so it's difficult for me to like recommend stuff, if you know what I mean. Just trying to be as honest as possible. I could pretend and I could give you the spiel, but it doesn't come from a place of experience, so I don't want to lead you down the wrong path. I bought a second-hand machine, a Hyundai. It came also with an X-Jet. I paid $550 for it. 15 litres per minute, just saved over $2,000. I'm about to purchase an electric start GX39. Nice. You're in a great position there, mate. I'm looking at the X-Jet. What do you think of the X-Jet? Do you use more product than what you would with, say, for example, a watering can? I'm worried that I'm just going to use so much hypo and I'll have so little control of where it goes. It's a lot of money. It's like 200 quid for an X-Jet, and I'm worried it's just going to cost me more in product, more in hypo. I can't get it serviced anywhere in Scotland. Yeah, I guess it's because it's like a Chinese machine, isn't it? It's difficult. Starting a pressure washing, Rain, welcome to the stream. I'm starting a pressure washing business and found a Clark. Would you say that's good enough to start? It's 4 gallon per minute, 3,600 psi. 4 GPM in LPM. Is there not a conversion thing? 0.264. How do I work that out? 0.264. Oh, I need to convert the other way. Oh god, my brain's about to explode. Here we go. 4. 15 litres per minute. Yes, that's probably the minimum that I'd say when you're full time and you're taking the business seriously, I'd say 15 litres per minute, 4 gallon per minute is around about where you want to be. If you're that's where you want to be if you want to start running surface cleaners. Any lower than that, and you're probably not going to get the performance you're after from a surface cleaner. I'm guessing if you're in gallon per minute, you're probably in the US. So you'll probably want to pair that with like an 18-inch surface cleaner. Any bigger than that, and you're going to lose efficacy, in my experience. It was 900 quid, and if it breaks, I'm knackered, as I can't afford to just fork out for a new machine. So I'm hoping I get lucky, find someone who can fix the issues I come up with. Yeah, it's or you can do it yourself. I'm sure you can find some spare parts and have a go at it yourself. You'll be surprised how easy these machines are to pull apart and replace bits. I've learned so much from just servicing my machine, and from just like what was I doing with the just replacing that spring on the unloader. I had to do that 4 times in total because it kept disintegrating, and I was just doing it myself. Ordered the part, did it myself, and it's fine. You learn a lot from trying to, The one thing I didn't expect to break on my first machine was the pull start, the cord on the pull start, and it's because I didn't know you had to like preload it. I was just yanking it and pulling it as hard as I could. You actually have to take up the slack first until it gets tough, and then pull it. And so I was pulling it so hard that it was just scuffing on the corner of the spinny thing, and it just broke eventually. And I was on site, and so I ended up taking my shoelace off, unbolting the faceplate, and putting my shoelace on the pull start, wrapping it round, bolting the plate back on, and it worked perfectly. And then I just ordered a new one off the website and fitted it myself. It's amazing how simple these machines are. 15 litres per minute or 20 litres per minute. I don't know how much of a difference you're going to see in 275 bar compared to 200 bar. I think rather than looking at the bar, you want to focus more on the litres per minute, I would say. But I can't tell you for sure because, again, I've got no experience in using a machine like that. Do you think it's okay to buy a used petrol pressure washer? Yeah, a lot of people recommend get a good used Honda. The Hondas last for ages. Last forever if you service them well and you look after them. And this time of year, a lot of people starting their business, they're buying all this brand new equipment, spending thousands, and they don't get customers within the first 3 or 4 weeks, and so they're very disheartened, and they think, oh, I've got thousands of pounds invested in all this equipment, and they sell up. And you can grab some absolute bargains on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff. If I had the need for a machine quickly, if something broke or something, the first place I'd look is probably I'd either rent one or I'd look on Facebook Marketplace. That's another thing. Spend a bit of money and rent one for a week from like a reputable supplier, not from like Brandon Tool Station or Brandon Hire or Dormer or Jewson's or whatever those hire places are. Don't go to those commercial hire places because they've just got generic industrial style machines for like basic street cleaning stuff. Go to a place like Rutland Pumps or AC Pressure Washers or Precious Pressure Washing in Stafford or Evesham Sales and Service. They rent machines out and they'll get you the proper kit that the big boys use every day, and then you can try it out and you can decide what sort of machine's for you. You might find that for me, I found that the lance was a bit too long, and it's made me realise that I prefer a shorter lance, even though I'm quite tall. I'm 6'2". You might find that you don't like having the pull start because it's too difficult. You might find that you want to invest a bit more money and get an electric start, but you won't know until you've given it a go. 16.5 litres per minute. Yeah, that's plenty to get going. You might want to look at a portable buffer tank to go with that though, because if you're in the UK, most garden taps in the UK aren't gonna keep up with a machine with that much flow. I bought a Van GX390 20-inch surface cleaner, rinse lance, and a turbo lance. Just finished the Pure Seal course last week with Squeaky Clean Dave and co. I'm in Cheshire. Your vids are so informative. Learned a lot from you. Thank you, mate. The Watcher. Thanks very much. Squeaky Clean Dave messaged me tonight and he said he's got COVID. I wonder if he got that from the course. But we're going to be doing a double up clean at some point. Hopefully in the next few weeks when he's better. Should we have a look at so this was the free clean that I did. You've probably, if you haven't already, the seen it. The video is, I think it's the last one I posted. So this was Sunday's job. Came out really well. These blocks are really lovely to clean. Didn't use any chemicals on this. Just pressure, just water. And the lovely thing about these is that the joints are so tight. The gaps are so thin. It's such a well laid patio. There's no sinking, there's no nothing. There's a bit of sinking on the steps, but the gaps are so thin that the stuff that come out from between the joints was like minimal. Just a bit of sand, a little bit of moss and weeds here and there, but this area, this is probably like a 4-car driveway if you were to put it on the front of someone's house. Maybe 3.5, 4-car driveway. And the amount of sludge that you'd expect at the end of a job like this, compared to what I actually had, was great. Great water pressure. My tank never dropped below full. Using the turbo nozzle on full pressure all day. And I'd already spoke to the guy of where I'm going to dispose of all the sludge. He had like a little fence at the back where it can just go over the back of the fence. So that was fine. He moved all the furniture off there for me. Just left alone with it, to be fair. He made me a coffee in the morning and then just said that he's heading out, and stuck my headphones on. I was able to do a bit of filming as well. So really good job that was. I was pleased with that. Good drainage. No issues with that. Started at the bottom because I knew that's where all the water was going to collect. So generally you want to start cleaning. If you think you're going to have an issue with flooding, or if you know which direction the water is going to travel, you want to start cleaning where you think the puddles are going to form, because once the water's there, you're not going to be able to see what you're doing. So clean there first and work away from that area generally, unless you're on a slope and it's going down into the road and washing down into a drain. In that case, just start at the top and work your way down. The Watcher, that's sounds like a really good base starting point for like a solid business. You've got yourself on the course, you've got yourself the right equipment, you've got a van, you're ready to go, mate. All the best with that. Good luck. Stephen, I use 4:1. I use it on 4:1 basis, and you can control where it goes with practice. And the X-Jet is fantastic for washing down. Is it? Just the nozzle, the spread on the nozzle is like a good wash down. Kind of doubles up as that as well. Oh, so you've got the 4:1 little. They call them. It's not a reducer. I mean, it is a reducer, but it's called a. Flow control something. you get all the different colours, and depending on what ratio of chemicals you want to spray out of it, you put that in. See all those little bits there, look. So I think they go up inside here, and that controls how much chemical to water ratio you have. And I think that little nozzle there, the flat discs, like the flat plates, as you spin it, they get closer together and they pull out and closer. Is that how you adjust the spread? Buying it for roof cleaning, so a 12-inch surface cleaner. Perfect. Sounds good. So 15 litres per minute, 12-inch surface cleaner. You'll do really well with that. Or 16 litres per minute, you said. I've done the same with the pull start 3 times. No way. There's definitely a technique to pull in those, to make sure you're not putting too much stress on the cord. Did you notice much of a difference switching from 11 litres per minute Parker brand pressure washer to your current pressure washer? Yes, I did. It was... You feel like a god. When you pull that trigger for the first time and it kicks you back, you feel unstoppable, honestly. I mean, I was impressed with the 11 litre per minute. I've never really used a pressure washer. It's strange, really, because you think you'd get into something like this after using something for the first time and thinking, oh, I could do this. I've used like maybe a little electric karcher to wash a car, probably once or twice in my life. But I knew after doing a bit of research that I knew I needed at least something that's petrol powered with an engine to at least get started, rather than one of those little electric ones, because you'll be there for days with one of those. And I was impressed with that. And then going from that to 15 litres per minute was such a difference. So I'm imagining going from 15 to 21. I'm looking at like potentially 25. I want something. I need to talk to pressure washer sales and service in Evesham, because I want to figure out a way where I can use a surface cleaner on block paving. That is my goal for towards the end of this year. I want to be able to use a surface cleaner appropriate for block paving. It's going to get all the weeds out like a turbo nozzle does. It's going to get all the moss out from between the joints. Because on my latest one, I actually showed me using the surface cleaner. And it just it cleaned the blocks beautifully, but it just didn't get rid of the stuff from between the joints. Hello, girlie.
She's not tired.
What are you doing?
Has she been up?
I didn't think so until.
Oh.
She did do a poo in her nappy though.
She's just gone for a wee wee.
So you can see here where I was testing out. I always do this. I occasionally do this on block paving. I'll test out the surface cleaner just to see what it does, because I have done a couple of jobs with the surface cleaner on block paving and it's been fine, but it very much depends. It depends. So clean it off like this, just wash it all down, rinse it down so that you can see the result. And the blocks are clean. That is those results are fine. I'd be happy with that. But when you get a bit closer, you can see there's moss still between the joints and there's weeds still present. And so I'd end up having to go over that whole area again with the turbo nozzle. And so I just thought, rather than wasting time, let's just turbo the whole lot. Because the other day I did surface cleaner over the whole area of the block paving, and then I thought I'll do the surface cleaner, that's going to speed things up, and then I'll just go over it again with the turbo nozzle and that'll save time. But it didn't. I just ended up washing the whole area twice. So
Are you using your phone?
Am I using my phone?
Yeah.
Not at the minute. What?
Could I have a look at it for the world?
Huh?
For the bills?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is she alright if she comes chills with me for a bit?
With you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wants to chill with you, but...
I know. She's been very good not coming in. If she has been awake, I didn't know.
Oh, good job, Maya.
Because we made a pinky promise that she wouldn't come in
She
tonight.
was about to because she said she needed a wee.
Yeah. Last time I tried to stream, Maya was in and out every 5 minutes. She was supposed to be in bed, but she promised me this time that she wouldn't do that. So.
But it's a Monday, so she's had a nap, hasn't she?
There you go.
Mommy, let's do in this video.
Yeah.
Let's do.
Yeah.
And other thing. One of the things.
You want one of my drink? There you go.
Then
Carry everything.
Can I have it back though? Because I'm thirsty. Guys, I will catch up with your questions. I'm very sorry. I went off on a bit of a tangent.
thank you.
There you
Might
go,
bring
good.
it to Mommy's bedroom.
We have a drink here because Mummy wants a drink as well.
Yeah, I'd like to have it back, please. If that's all right. Oh god.
Be first, okay?
Okay, you
Oh, my back's killing. I've just put a new pull-up bar outside last couple of days, and in combined with the amount of pressure washing I've been doing this week, last week.
Thank you. Mommy, Daddy said.
Oh, my back is wrecked. I'm aching so much. Oh god. Right, let's catch up with these questions. Jake, where did you get your 3/4 inch hose fittings, and do they fit your normal tap connector? I actually found some in Lidl after someone posted on one of the Facebook pages saying Lidl have got some, and they were 99p each for these big fat 19mm hose connectors. And it's strange because I feel like that's quite a specialist item. I don't know why Lidl would have them. Did you just fall over?
Yes, Mommy. I got my ex.
But I'm sure you can find them from like Screwfix or Toolstation. Actually sell the hose, so they might have the fittings at Toolstation.
Daddy, there you go.
Excellent drainage too, not like that other video where you had to unblock the drain. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Maya. Can I have a kiss? Love you.
Daddy,
Yeah.
my ex just does when we wake up.
When you wake up?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
See you in a bit.
Seven.
See you in a bit. Yeah, drainage can change the job completely. Like today, this job I had today, where am I? So this one was a pretty massive drive really for me. This is a big block paved drive. I've cleaned bigger, but these blocks are quite porous and they're not the easiest to clean. These are concrete blocks, but they're very heavily weathered. It came up really well, but this whole area in front of the house, the drive was sloped down into the road, but the drain was across the road and like down a bit. And so all that sludge and dirty water was running across the path, across the road, under the neighbour's car. And you can't, I can't leave it like that. She said the people over the road had theirs cleaned and they just left all the dirt in the road. Like the company who did it just left all the dirt. They cleaned the path but left the road. And I'm not that guy, so I literally spent an hour cleaning the road. So you've always got to consider where the water's going to end up, where that pile of sludge is going to end up, because that could be your, especially if you've got like an underpowered machine. If you're just starting out with a with a machine that's like designed for hobbyists. One, the job is going to take longer initially in the first place anyway. It's going to take you longer to clean those blocks, but also the cleanup afterwards. If you've not made sure you know where that water's going to go and you've not quoted, you haven't accounted for that in a quote, it could be a disaster for you, honestly. You could be there for many hours longer than you expected. Love the channel, mate. Craig, thank you. I really appreciate that. I've had some really nice feedback from this YouTube channel. You guys seem to really be getting some worthwhile content from it. I mean, hopefully at least you're entertained. That's the lowest I can hope for. But then for some of you guys that say you're learning quite a bit from it as well, that's I'm really happy with that. I bought an XJet M5, used the 4:1. They are definitely worth the money, but if you use 2:1 mix, it drains your hypo. I could literally fill my 20-litre container empty and when carrying it. No way. Yeah, I mean, I suppose if I'm using 4:1, that's the general ratio that I'm using through my gardener backpack anyway. It's just more effort having to keep filling it up. And I'm just getting it out onto the drive quicker, so it might feel like I'm using more product, but I'm just applying it quicker, maybe. Shall I buy one? Shall I buy one now? Where did you get yours from? It's about time. It's well overdue. I got the WaterTech. Equipped to Clean also do one. Rutland Pumps have got a chemical nozzle. Equipped to Clean have got their own version, but they've only got 2 ratios. You can only do 6:1 or 9:1, which is useless for me, really. That'd be just a waste of product. If I'm putting too little on and I have to keep reapplying it, it's just a waste of product. I want to go in at about 4:1 really. So I don't know who they've designed that for. Am I reading that wrong, or is that what that says? Rain, yep, I saw that one too. They didn't have that one available when I bought my machine, but the 21 litre per minute would be probably the one to go for. The XJet you want would be with the M5 head. Oh, is that why it's called an M5? Because it's got like a specific fitting on the end. It's just a snow foam attachment for chems. Oh, I just use a snow foam attachment for chems. Yeah, so I tried to use a snow foam bottle, but one, I couldn't fill it up because the containers, I've got 25 litre containers, and trying to pour that into like a little, even with a funnel, I'm trying to hold it between my feet and pour the chemicals at the same time and not get it all over my boots. It was just a nightmare. And then you've got to make sure it's like all plastic because you don't want any brass connectors. Because if you put in hypo through like brass and stainless steel, it's just going to make it go all oxidized or rusty. The Watcher, I used Facebook Marketplace for used equipment, but heard so much good stuff about the GX390s. I emptied my savings and bought a new. That's probably the way to do it, to be fair, mate. That's what I'd do too. Like if I was going to spend good money on a Honda engine and it's the one that I want that's going to last me a long time, I probably wouldn't buy it new, buy it used. If I needed something in a rush and I saw a cheap one on there, I'd probably snap it up. But if I was going to, make sure this is going to be the machine that's going to last me 5-6 years, hopefully, maybe more, then I'd probably buy a new one. Took months looking for the right van, just need experience now. Well, it sounds like you're doing things right. it sounds like you're with the fact that you're being particular about the van in the first place means that you want this to work for you, and you're not just going to buy anything just to get you going. Batman, hey up Shag, just landed my first big job. Nice. 430 square meters of block paving. Jesus, how are you going to clean that? I think the biggest block paving job I've done is about 280 square meters, and luckily I could use the surface cleaner on that, because if I had to just use a turbo nozzle on that massive area, like it wasn't heavily soiled, it didn't have loads of roots, it didn't have loads of weeds, it didn't have loads of moss coming through the joints. It was fairly clean anyway. It just wanted it freshening up. So I think I washed it with the surface cleaner and then did biocide on it. But you need to, if that's your first, I don't know how long you've been going, so if that's like your first, what's the going rate per square meter for tarmac restoration? I don't know, I haven't really got a set price. I do about £3.50 per square meter for the wash. Then I work out the coverage of the materials just by looking on whatever materials you're thinking of. Look on the website, check the coverage, see how many tins you'll need, add that onto the price plus 10%, and then don't forget to take into account the time for you to actually apply it. So do, in the quote, this is what I do anyway. Tarmac, low pressure wash or something, 25 litres of sealer, for example, if that's how much you need, and then the price, and then below that you want to put sealer application, and then give the price. Make sure you take into account your time it's gonna take to apply the sealer. I generally put aside half a day for like sealer application. It's probably more tedious than pressure washing in the first place, to be honest. Obviously it depends on the size, it depends on the area. I've got quite a big one to do next week, tarmac restoration. It's like 70 square meters, which for a tarmac drive is quite a big one. It's going to be a lot of sealer that I'm going to go through on that one. But as long as you make sure the customer's paying for it, you'll be good. Yeah, Stephen, she's done well tonight not to keep coming in, to be fair. I feel bad telling her don't come in because I'm her dad. I want to be able to, if she's got a problem, I want her to feel like she can come in and talk to me, but I've got that little lance from them anyway, and then you can just click that onto the end of it, and they've got the different fittings depending on which machine you've got or which lance you've got. I only had 12 litres per minute. That's what I started out with, Mr. Moo. I think I started out with 11. It was you who got me started in this game, mate. Much appreciated. David, I'm very glad to hear. I hope I hope it's going well for you. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of grinding. The only bit of advice, or the main bit of advice I can give, is just stay consistent. Don't give up just because you've had like a quiet patch, or if you've had a few jobs that haven't gone quite to plan. Just remain consistent. Keep doing what you're doing every day. Do at least one thing that contributes towards your business every day. Whether it's sorting out your receipts, whether it's making a spreadsheet, whether it's servicing your equipment, whether it's cleaning your van out, whether it's spraying WD-40 in the quick release things. Whether it's doing a bit of research on a new product, whether it's putting some pictures on your Facebook page, just do anything. Doesn't have to be a big thing, just at least one thing every day to keep the snowball growing, keep the snowball moving. That's what I did for like 12 months, probably less than 12 months actually, and that was the attitude that got me to be able to go full-time eventually. So I was able to quit my full-time job, just do pressure washing. Craig, only one Craig allowed. I bought mine from Rutland Pumps. They were so helpful. I will look at Rutland Pumps. £220. God, I remember when they used to be like 150 quid, and I thought that was so expensive. And now they're up at 220, man. Oh, did you get the trigger with it as well? Because I don't need the trigger. I got 15 caps for it, all different mix ratios. Can you tell me how easy the caps are to replace? If you want to quickly switch ratios on the fly, is that easy to do or not? Bearing in mind you've probably got remnants of hypo inside the trigger, so you're gonna have to like wear your gloves and disassemble it and make sure you don't get hypo all over yourself. The FSC issue in my mind is a 2 nozzle versus 3 nozzle purchase. 2 nozzle is the litres per minute divided by 2, so larger nozzle size, more flow hitting power from 2 nozzles. 3 is smaller, less flow per nozzle. Charlie, that's a very good point. So the jets that I've just had installed, I've had my jets replaced because I had an issue, and he's put in 3 015 fan jets, the 25-degree fan tips, and there's 3 of them, and they're 015, which in total makes 045, which is the appropriate size for the flow rate of my machine. So that's correct. But I see what you're saying, where would I be better off having, for example, 2 025s or 2 020s? Would that be more focused pressure, and would that do a better job of removing the weeds? Is my issue the fact that it's spread across 3 jets and not just 2? Or is my issue lack of flow? Or is my issue, I was thinking maybe instead of having an 18-inch surface cleaner, which I'm happy with, some people go up to like 22-inch or whatever. I'm happy with my 18-inch surface cleaner. I was thinking if you could reduce that, maybe have a 16-inch or even like a 14-inch surface cleaner. It might look a bit ridiculous, but would that smash through the weeds? And would that be super effective with the current flow rate of my machine? You know what I mean? I was even thinking of like going into some sort of product development where I do a lot of research, order a load of stuff, test everything, try and create like the ideal thing for someone in my position that doesn't necessarily have the water flow of, if I go for a 21 litre per minute machine, I might get better results, but can I supply the water? I've only got a 250 litre tank. Like it's everything combined, where you upgrade one thing, you got to end up upgrading everything else as well. Thanks, Lee. Jake Brooker. Hi, Jake. With the no-nonsense patio sealant you use, do you double coat it or single coat? It says on the product Q&A to double coat. Yeah, you probably want to put 2 on just to make sure. The first one you'd put like a heavy coat on to saturate the joints, and then the second one would probably just be a light mist. I don't use it all the time. For example, I'm using Pure Seal's Concrete Sealer Pro next week or this week on this big job. That is a lot of sealer. and it's a lot of money in comparison to that Screwfix stuff. If I'm just doing a little job, or the customer doesn't want to pay crazy money, I'll just use the Screwfix stuff, because in my experience there's been nothing wrong with it. If you do get pooling, ideally you want to have a leaf blower with you, because occasionally it will pull on top of the bricks, or it'll pull in between the joints, and ideally you want to blow that away so it's not drying it when it's like pulled, you know what I mean? What is biocide best for? Long-term organic growth prevention. So say for example you don't want to pressure wash the roof, you just want to scrape it. You put the biocide on, it's going to gradually restore the colour of the tiles, and it's going to kill the reproductive cycle of the moss and the lichen, and it'll eventually clean them. Every time it rains, it reactivates and it keeps cleaning it. Ground surfaces, it's good for like 8 to 12 months. Yeah, 8 to 12 months. Roofs, it's good for up to like 2 years. Depends on how much you put on. Depends on how much overhanging foliage there is, all that sort of stuff. Really good for things like decking. If you can tell the customer, don't expect instant results. Even if I pressure wash it, there's a chance it's still going to be green by the end of it. We'll do a quick rinse. We'll put the biocide on, and then over the next few weeks or months, you're going to notice all that green is just going to go away. Really good on fences. I did it on a fence the other day, and the results were literally, you could see in the customer said within like 2 days after you did it, all of the green was gone off the fence. So if you don't want to use high pressure on something, biocide is a great sort of long-term option, but you got to get the dilution right, and you can't apply it if it's about to rain. Make sure it's a dry day. Sorry, trying to keep up with your questions. I'm trying my best. I only started up 8 weeks ago, and work really started to pick up. Now I'm fully booked for the next couple of weeks. Congratulations, Batman. Well done, Shag. They pop in the nipple. Sorry, what did I just read? Oh, they pop in the nipple. They pop in the nipple. You can see there. In there or in here? This bit goes in the bottom of your chemical barrel, and then it feeds the tube to there. I wonder what that bit's for. Would that be to like shut off the chemicals, essentially? And so it's just water that's coming out. You could potentially adjust the ratio by turning that halfway, that little ball valve maybe. The ratio pegs, not the nipples. Takes 2 seconds, mate. One cap out, the other one couldn't be any easier. Just always make sure you have pre-or protection on when you're doing it. I read that as pre-erection. My mind is somewhere else tonight. Sam, welcome back. Hello, boss. Nice to see you live again. Hope you're having a good evening. I am. Curious whether you upgraded the lance on the Parker machine you had. If so, which one would you recommend? I didn't upgrade the lance. I used that lance until the pump started leaking oil. And now I've just got the standard lance that came with the I'm not going to Google it now, with the Equip to Clean pressure washer. I've just got the standard lance that came with that. The only lance that I don't like is where it goes and then it bends down like that. It's like a like that. because you get a false sense of pressure. When you click it, when you pull the trigger, your arms will fly up in the air when you're using it for the first time, and then you'll get it back under control, and all it wants to do is push itself up in the air, and so it feels more powerful, and I think that's why they've done it. It's no more powerful, it's just more effort to control, and your arm will be dead by the end of the day. I prefer having a straight lance, and the reason I like my shorter lance is because I can get over the top of it and wash totally vertically down. And when you've got beveled edges on bricks, if you're washing at a slant and you're washing in one direction, there's a chance that you're missing the back of the beveled edge. And so I like to literally lean right over the top. And it might not be the best posture. My elbow's up in the air, which is why it hurts, and my neck is cranked like this, and I'm washing back and forward like that. But that's, for me, that's what gets the best results. So that's what I'm doing at the minute. 025 would be the correct size because you go the next size up, never smaller, because you get unloader issues. Okay, so you want to go like a total of 050 instead of going down. Yeah, I've done lots of research. That's good to know. So yeah, if I was to go with a surface cleaner with 2 bars, 2 jets instead of 3, you'd recommend 025 with 25-degree fan jets. And you reckon that will get me better results, Charlie, for block paving? Thanks for the video again, mate. We'll catch up on the rest shortly. Hopefully catch the next live stream. No worries, J&M. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. I have a GX 390, 21 litre per minute, with the same 250 litre tank as you. I can confirm I do run out of water a few times a day on larger jobs, even on lower pressure. David, are you using a 3/4 inch hose from the customer's water supply? And do you have 3/4 inch fittings? And do you have a good float valve, a high flow float valve going into the tank? I'm interested to know whether you're running out of water because lack of pressure, whether you're running out of water because your machine has a high flow rate, or whether you're running out of water because you've got restrictions on the hose and on the fill valve. Connor, cheers mate. So would you normally biocide or hypo block paving? It depends what the customer wants. So if you're washing block paving, which is what I did today, so this is hypo. I don't know if you can see here. I might have to zoom way in and you probably still won't be able to see. Can you see these little black spots on the beveled edges of these joints? They're very fine. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on stream. Over here is pretty much fine, but here there's black spots between the joints. And for this reason, I knew that I could get instant results by just doing a hypo treatment. And the reason I wanted instant results is because we're sealing this later in the week. I don't want to biocide it, seal it before the biocide has had a chance to work, and lock all those black spots underneath the sealer. I don't know what that would do. I don't know whether the biocide would carry on working or not. I'm not sure. I don't even know if you can biocide and then seal like a week later. I'm not sure. But hypo becomes dormant after like an hour. So if you put the hypo down, it will clear those black spots, which it did. There's no black spots left on this surface whatsoever. Can I zoom back out? I did the wall as well. That was a little freebie. How do I zoom back out again? So buyer side, you're looking at longer term results. So if the customer says, okay, fair enough, you're jet washing it now, but am I going to have you back in all this overhanging foliage, lots of weed growth? Am I going to have you back in 6 months or 12 months to do it again? And you can say, well, if you want to avoid that and get the best results possible, we can pressure wash it and then do a buyer side treatment, and we can keep topping that up every 8 to 12 months. And so hopefully you won't have to keep pressure washing it every year, because the biocide will keep it clean. The quick release. How do you clean decking start to finish? Kind of depends on how bad it is. If it's like green and slippy and horrible, I'd probably pressure wash it. What I mean by that is 25-degree fan tip, not too close, and you're not stopping at any point on the panel. You're doing a continuous motion until you get to the end of the panel. Or if you do have to stop, you're feathering it out. So say that's the panel, and that's your fan jet. You're going to go like that, and if you have to stop, you're going to turn it and fan it out like that. And that'll, hopefully you'll avoid leaving streaks, because if you stop halfway down a panel, you're going to leave a very clear line. So if it's really bad, you can pressure wash it. I've even used my surface cleaner on my sister's decking, just as like a test. I wanted to give myself some training and see if I can get faster results on decking without marking it. And surface cleaner on low pressure does work. Well, it did on this anyway, so. But you want to tell the customer decking's a tricky one, because even if you pressure wash it, there's a chance it's still going to be green. So you always want to tell them we're going to do a post chemical treatment using biocide. If you use hypo, it's going to bleach the decking. If you use biocide, it's going to gradually clean it over the next couple of days or weeks without damaging it. And you'll get different results from pressure washing depending on whether the wood has been treated, whether it's painted decking, whether it's natural, unpainted, unstained. They're all different, so proceed with caution. Mr. Moo says, love all this great information. Every time I learn so much. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Jake. Oh, Mr. Moo. Thank you for watching. And thank you guys for the questions as well. I'm doing my best to answer honestly and to the best of my knowledge. So keep them coming. I'm by no means the most experienced person in the world, but I can do my very best to tell you what I know. Look at these wall tops here. Look, I was well impressed with how they came up. See at the bottom of the screen there. She said, can you just give those wall tops a blast, and just, if you can make them look better, great, but I can't imagine they're going to look much better. And then I did one. I did this one closest to the screen here. Look how good that looks. We were expecting, I mean, the wall was falling apart. There's no mortar left between this brick before I even started washing. And so she said, I said to her, like, if I wash this wall, it's probably just going to fall apart. She went, can you just do the top then? Can you just go along the top? I said, all right, we'll give it a go. And I did a light wash on the pillars, and it came up like new. I was like, oh my God, I want to clean the rest of it now. So it wasn't part of the quote. Look how good that looks. That's my best result on a wall ever. And you can see there's no mortar left between those bricks. I did go as light as I possibly could, but she's well pleased with it, so happy with that. Thanks, Mr. Moo. I do appreciate the kind words. Thank you, mate. Thanks, mate. How long would you wait between coats?
You don't smashes on phone.
Sorry?
You don't smashes.
I've got a message.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Come now, my go now.
Now may I go?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could go.
Then go.
All right. Love you.
Love you.
Oh, is that your head?
Yeah.
Come here. You're right.
Yeah. Dad,
Let's have a look.
you-
Where did you hit it?
And there. Dad, you want the doors?
Sorry?
You want the doors open?
I would like the door closed, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you.
How long would you wait between coats? Also, do you use any particular software to invoice people? Sorry, Jake. Wait between coats of sealer. Whatever the instructions say, it's normally no longer than 40 minutes between coats for most sealers. But if it's a really hot day, it depends on what type of sealer it is. I think that one's water based. To be honest, I don't know, mate. You're probably better off reading the description or asking in the Q&A below the product, or just type into Google how long between coats on water based sealer, because I'm guessing it's different with solvent based. I got the float valve you used in one of your setup videos, not the newest float valve. I don't have the 3/4 inch hose fitting set up yet, just 1/2 inch, but we'll get the 3/4 inch set up in the next few days. So David, I guarantee you're going to see such a difference with a new float valve like the one I've got in my video, 3/4 inch hose, 3/4 inch hose fittings. I reckon you'll be astonished at the difference, because I was. And I know mine's only 15 litres per minute, but I don't think I've run out of water once since I've installed that. Swear, honestly. I don't think I've run out of water once. In most jobs, my tank remains full the whole time. And that never happened before. As soon as I started washing before, my tank would always slowly drain until it was empty. Now it doesn't drop below full on most jobs. Looking to start up in 2024, and watching your videos makes me really look forward to making the jump, mate. Learning loads. Dean, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to let me know. And very best of luck. I'm sure you're going to smash it. Let me, can I ask you why you're waiting until 2024 to start up? What's stopping you from doing it right now? Feel free not to answer, I'm just intrigued. How do you tackle oil stains? I've tried the Synergy Pro out on my drive, 1:3 ratio, and it barely touched it. I think I did 50-50 ratio on my tarmac, and it worked really well. Although I saw a post from Chris Lawler, who is the Pure Seal CEO, and he posted in one of the groups saying, I think he said, don't use Synergy on tarmac, which I was quite surprised at, because it worked really well on my tarmac. I didn't know, but he posted that after I'd already tried it, and it was fine. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I've been meaning to ask him actually. But even with like a degreaser or no nonsense degreaser from Screwfix, you're gonna, if it's a bad oil stain, you're gonna want to use it neat, and you're gonna probably want to do 3 or 4 applications. You should never expect to get an oil stain off with one application, and if you do, you're very, very lucky. also it depends on how long it's been down. It depends on the porosity of the bricks. If the oil has had chance to seep into the pores of the brick and get well beneath the inside the joints and all that sort of stuff, if it's really soaked in there, it's going to clearly be a lot harder to remove than if it's only been there for a day or two. This is another job that I did recently. This was not a very nice drive to do, to be honest. You can see where someone's done a test patch before. But this drive had 3 different types of bricks on it. One was like the original brick. Then the middle was like the original brick, but it was new bricks, and so they weren't weathered. Some were like weathered, showing aggregate, and then they were like new bricks. And then this bit was built after the rest of the drive was done, and it was all wonky. It was all different colours and stuff. And I don't like it because it never looks good in the before and after pictures. So the customer's really happy. Like, it came, that they were very pleased with it, but don't like doing those jobs really. How much could you just, while you're here, etc., do you accept before you charge extra, or would you approach it? I know exactly what you're saying, and I don't take, very often when the customer's showing you around, and this is going to be the premise for one of my next videos, which I need some advice on from you guys in a minute, if you wouldn't mind. Very often the customer's showing you around and they'll say, can you just give this a quick blast? Or it won't take you long, it just needs a rinse. And at that point, I get my back up a little bit, because they have no idea how long it's going to take me to do my job in washing that bit of whatever they're showing me. They have no idea. They don't know what equipment I've got. They don't know what chemicals I'll need to use. They don't. And at that point, when they're saying just give it a quick blast, you then can't be responsible for the results. I'm a perfectionist, and so if I see like little bit of tarmac or something that wasn't in the quote, or a little bit on the path outside, and they say, can you just give that a quick rinse? And I give it a quick rinse and it still looks crap. That's on me then. That's a job that I've done poorly because I haven't got a good result. But it weren't part of the quote in the first place, so I'm very cautious to set the customer's expectations and just say, look, I didn't quote for that. Either I'll have to price it up and charge you a bit more, or if it's just a small area, I can say I'll give it a go. Can't guarantee it's going to look any better, but I will give it a go. I'm not going to spend too long on it because I'm here to wash this area, and this is my focus today. If you want me to come back and focus on this area and get you some really good results, then I'll have to charge you extra for doing that. So you've got to really set the customer's expectations and don't let them tell you how long it's going to take for you to do your job, because they have no idea. Which is a good point to ask you about the next thing on my list. I've come prepared. I need your help. So we've spoken about... Oh, we've still got a quote to do. If you guys fancy doing a quote with me tonight, let me know. We spoke about that. I offered a free clean to someone the other day. I don't want to be that guy that's trying to score brownie points, but they didn't really want to like accept the free clean, but they're giving me a ping pong table. I think he's buying me some beer. He wants to give me some cash, but I'm telling him no. And I spotted a ping pong table in the back garden. I said, "Oh, is that? I love ping pong. We have parties every couple of months at my house. and we've set up like a makeshift ping pong table on the dining room table, and it's rubbish. Like, it's not big enough. There's dead spots in the table, so that occasionally the ball will bounce fine, but a lot of the time it bounces and it's like a dead bounce. You can see it loses all momentum, and so it's impossible to play. But it's gonna like elevate these parties. And he said, "Oh, I can't get rid of it, mate." So I've been asking my friends if they want it. They don't want it. No one can pick it up because it won't fit in a car. He said, "Yeah, if you want it, have it." I was like, "Sweet, that's made this all worthwhile." Essentially, they couldn't afford my quote, or they could probably afford it, but they didn't have that budget for the cleaning. They'd just had a baby, and they said, "Appreciate you coming round. Unfortunately, it was more money than I'd budgeted for the work to be done. So maybe we'll use you later on in the year or something." I said, "I'll tell you what. You just had a baby. I want you to enjoy your garden for the summer. I know how important those first few months are to just be able to relax and wind down, especially for the mom after going through all that." And I just said I'd like to do it for free. Maybe get me a beer or something. And they, yeah, ping pong table. An interactive stream. What do you mean, Comet? Welcome back. Quote sounds good. I'll do a quote with you, mate. Quote sounds good. Thanks for that. Quote sounds good. Okay, let's do a quote. Do you want to do that now? Let me just tell you about a project I'm working on. So, you might have seen one of my shorts the other day. I've put it on TikTok, and it's reached 1.5 million views in less than a week. So, and people are asking for more of this sort of content. So I need some more ideas. I'm going to play the video for you, and I need you guys to help me think of some more. I've got some in my head, ready for the next one. Fair play to you, Jake. Thanks, Mr. Boo. Right, have a listen, see what you think. Red flags to look out for when you're speaking to a potential customer. If you do a good job, I'll get you loads more work. In my experience, this never materialises. People who say this generally don't understand that they're trying to manipulate you, but it's a great way for them to ensure that you do a good job. The problem is when you do the first job cheaper with the expectation of more work, but that work sometimes doesn't exist in the first place. Are you the cheapest in town? You shouldn't be targeting customers who want to spend as little money as possible for your service. As soon as you become the cheapest, you'll always be known as the cheapest. Don't tailor your price into a customer's budget. They can either afford you or they can't. That's not to say that you shouldn't constantly review your pricing to make sure you're competitive. Hi, I'm looking for a quote, but I need it done this week. Some customers leave it till the last minute to reach out for quotes and then expect you to bend over backwards to accommodate them. If your calendar's full, you'll end up rushing around to squeeze them in and potentially letting down your other customers who were more organised in the first place. It's probably not worth the hassle. I've got a massive list of these red flags, so let me know if you want to hear more. Red flags to look out for when you're... My microphone was muted. So if you guys have got any more ideas for, like, if you work in a customer service environment or you're in this industry where you're going to do quotes, maybe you're a gardener or a tree surgeon, or like we were just talking about with could you just, while you're here, could you just do that as well? I'm thinking about those. It won't take you long, you know, because that is a red flag. If someone's telling me how long it's going to take for me to do my job, that's a red flag for me. I've had some hilarious comments on this. People telling me that the majority of them agree. 847 comments on this. The majority of people agree. We've all been there. Well said. I rate this. Nice video. All that sort of stuff. But some of them are saying things like, you're a red flag tradesman for making this video. It's like, this video isn't intended for my customers. This video is for people starting out in the industry. Isn't quoting easy? Just say, foreign job, deep intake of breath. That's going to cost you. Maybe I've figured out why I'm not getting the work. A lot of people have said that, that I'm actually putting too much effort into my quotes, and that I should know the pricing. I shouldn't need to go home. Like, I did a video about going home and considering what's involved in the work, taking some pictures, making sure I've got all the information I need before I give a price. And people are saying, like, if you can't give a price on the spot, then you're not experienced and you don't understand the work and you don't know the job and all this sort of stuff. But it's not about that. It's about being proactive, conscientious, and making sure you're not losing money on jobs. That's all. Nothing wrong with spending more time doing something and not giving a customer a price just because they keep asking you, come on, tell me roughly how much it's going to be. Just give me a rough idea. Just give me a rough price, because then I feel like I'm held to that price. I'll naturally give them a cheaper price because they're stood in front of me in person and I feel like I need to do them a favour. So I'll lowball myself, give them a cheap price, and then I'm stuck to it then. I can't then go home, figure it all out, and then send them a new price, which is an extra £75 to £100, because I've realised the drainage is going to be an issue or their water flow is poor. There's a lot to consider when you're quoting, I think. I mean, we get to do a quote with you. Oh, okay, comment. I see what you mean. Yeah, if you've got Steam, that's probably for oil stains. That's the next best thing. If you can do steam and chemicals on oil stains, you've got a much better chance than just using cold water and chemicals. Definitely. If you guys can think of any more of these red flags, send them in, because I'm going to make more of these videos. This video's done really well 4 days ago, and it's at 1.5 million views. So I'm going to do a bunch of them. Anyway. Let's do a quote. Okay. So this is an old friend's house that I went and visited yesterday. A block paved drive which measures roughly 43 meters squared. And you gotta take these measurements with a slight pinch of salt. One, because sometimes you don't know where the roof ends and the drive begins. Sometimes the roof overlaps and there's like a couple of feet. The resolution of these Google Earth images aren't great, and so you're not getting extremely precise measurements. And also, if it's a heavily shaded area, it just looks black. Like you can see in the back garden here, it's just black. You don't know what you're measuring, so it's quite difficult sometimes. So that's the street view. This is where my tyre popped the other day. I was stranded. So here, there's a drain literally in line with this line down here at the bottom. And that drain would have been absolutely ideal if it was just a couple of meters down here instead. But as it is, the nearest drain is down there. So one thing to consider when I'm quoting this one is all the water and all the dirty sludge is going to end up in the road, and the dirty water is going to run all the way down there. It's going to get caught in all these weeds, it's going to get all tied up in all that, and then it's going to end up in the drain down there. So I'm at least going to have to rinse. I'll collect the mud pile down here, I'll scoop up all the mud, and then I'll have to rinse, probably end up rinsing the majority of the way down until I get to the drain. Because else these two neighbours here are going to think, oh nice, you've cleaned his drive, you've cleaned his path and the road, but you've left a load of dirt outside my house, which I don't do. So I'm going to have to clean all the way down to that drain. So I'm taking that into consideration when I'm quoting this job. That's not his response. That's not, nothing he can do about that. It's just unlucky. And so my price will unfortunately reflect that. Anyone who does this for a living, what do you guys do about these weeds? So generally, when I'm cleaning the block paving, I'll clean this, I don't know what they're called, they're like concrete edging, the divide between the tarmac and the drive basically. So the weeds on this side are going to come out no problem because I'm going to blast them with my turbo nozzle. But on this side, if I was to pull these weeds out, which you'll probably spend a long time doing, or blast them out with a turbo nozzle, all of this tarmac is going to be loose and it's going to come up with the weeds. So sometimes the weeds are the only thing holding the tarmac together. Weeds and moss. It can really damage the... You want some more of my juice? There you go. So if you were to hit that with a turbo nozzle, the whole thing is just going to disintegrate and you're going to end up leaving the customer with loads of big holes at the end of their drive. Love you. So do you do that? Do you pull the weeds out and leave a load of holes? Or do you say, well actually, I'm just cleaning the drive. This is part of the path. Not really my responsibility. I don't know where I stand on that. I don't know what to do. I could just cut them down. I could just run my knife along there and cut the weeds down and not blast them with the pressure washer. Leave them in place. I know full well they're going to grow back in a couple of weeks. But I've got the result on the day. The drive's clean. Everything looks good. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Just doing as much research as I can, mate. Looking at what pressure washers, van, putting website together, marketing, etc. Also jumping in from employment and going solo, I guess. Yeah, try not to do everything all at once, else you'll sort of burn yourself out really quickly and you might lose motivation for it. Try and just do little bits at a time, at least one thing every day, and just stay consistent. You don't need to get it all done at the same time. I'd probably focus less on a website, less on building a website and more on just putting a simple Facebook page together. A website, you're probably looking at more commercial work. In my experience, my Facebook page has done fantastically well. And Instagram as well, that's pretty good. Website, you know, trying to look professional, trying to look like you've been doing it for a long time. That's more, in my opinion, to target commercial work, which if you're just starting out, you don't want commercial work just yet. You're not going to be able to do it. just compromise and strim it. It's a good suggestion. Could just strim it, but I don't carry a strim around in the van with me. And so the other bit is, so that's 43 meters roughly of block paving on the front, and luckily he's got a tap right there, a tap on the front with good pressure. And then on the back we've got a thin strip of, like a thin patio. I haven't measured it perfectly. I think it actually cuts off sooner than that. But there's a problem because the only access is if I were to park the van up here. Bearing in mind my machine is van mounted, I have to then run my high pressure hose down here, and he's got a tap out the back for the water supply. So I'd have to have two hoses running down this tight gap between the gardens, and my van's going to be all the way up here because I don't want to run my hoses through the house because it's always a nuisance. If you can get access from the back rather than going through the house, it'll make your life so much easier. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'll probably do the back first, clean everything down, and then just basically pack up the van again and then move around to the front and do the drive. So roughly 16 meters squared in the back. It's not a big area at all, but there's no drainage, there's no drain out there. Well, there is a drain, but it's elevated, so it's a little bit pointless really. It's just for the washing machine, dishwasher, all that sort of stuff. The slabs aren't in great condition. Lots of weeds, lots of grass growing between the joints. They're all a bit wonky, but he's just looking to get them smartened up a bit. And then there's this little bit by the back gate. So I've got a feeling all the water is going to go down into this corner, and then it's just going to drain out onto the path behind. So it's just going to end up in the alleyway basically, and there's not a lot I can do about that because the alleyway is equally knackered. It's just a tarmac alleyway with weeds everywhere, so we'll see with that one, I suppose. This won't take me long. It's just going to be a bit of a mucky one. Lots of corners. Anytime you get to a corner when you're pressure washing, if there's a wall like that, you're going to get loads of dirt and muck and water all up in your face. Yeah, if you've got loads of gaps and ins and outs and narrowings and stuff, just expect that you're going to get absolutely filthy. Especially with block paving. Horrible. I try and stand back best I can and just sort of use one arm with one hand on the trigger and just sort of, but you always get plastered anyway. Could you put a suggested upsell into the quote? X amount of money to remove the weeds from the path for the aesthetic look. I could say my quote ends at the border of the driveway. If you want me to get rid of those weeds, it's going to cost you X amount of money. But then you've also got to set their expectations and say, look, when those weeds come out, it's going to pull out some of the tarmac with it as well. So you're going to end up with holes. Would you rather have weeds or holes at the end of the driveway? And I don't do repairs. I did do some tarmac repair. I used some of that cold lay tarmac, and I just didn't really enjoy it. It's not a service I'm going to offer, I don't think. 245 quid plus VAT plus resand, 2 hours max, turbo the edges, surface cleaner, hypo the area, then clean up while the hypo is doing its job, 20-30 minutes, rinse then return when it's dry to resand properly, probably one bag. Craig, I don't charge VAT because I'm not VAT registered just yet, because I'm not earning 50 grand a year. So there's a couple of issues that I'd have doing it with that method. Turbo the edges and then use the surface cleaner. So we were talking earlier about my surface cleaner not being effective enough with the flow rate of my machine. It doesn't effectively clean the joints. So I've got 15 litres per minute. I'm using an 18-inch surface cleaner, and it's not powerful enough to get the weeds and the moss out from between the joints. It cleans the surface of the blocks beautifully, but I couldn't use the surface cleaner on that drive. So I'd have to turbo the whole thing, which really slows me down. And if you look at the job I did today, can you imagine having to do the whole drive by hand with a turbo nozzle and the lance? Like, it is a killer, and I'm looking desperately for ways of trying to be able to use a surface cleaner on block paving, because I reckon I could get it done in half the time. I was on this drive, like including the hypo, including the rinse down, including washing the road down and all that sort of stuff. I was there from 9 till 2 today. It's just a lot of work. It's just I feel like I could get this done a lot quicker if I had better equipment. In theory, that is council land, so you could have issues if you do make big holes. Yep. Another Craig. We've got all the Craigs tonight. Remove as much as possible by hand, then let the hypo kill off the roots, but not sure. I think I'm always a bit cautious with hypo on tarmac, because I've never had it had issues with like runoff and stuff. But and also you don't really want to be using hypo as like a weed killer. I wouldn't set the customer's expectations by saying the hypo is going to kill the weeds, because that's not what it's for. Okay, so if we're going off of my general pricing structure, £4 per square metre for block paving. What are we at? So let's round it up to 45, just because we've got that issue with drainage, that it's just going to take me a bit longer. So I don't mind rounding it up there. So what's 4 times 45? So 180 quid for the driveway clean. That sounds about right, considering we're going to be using hypo on the drive as like a post treatment, and we're going to be coming back to resand it. That's not going to take long to sand that drive. It's probably going to take, what, half an hour, 40 minutes to resand that drive. Blowing it all off with a leaf blower afterwards to make sure we get good results. Are we going to include the sand in that 180 quid, £4 per square metre? Are we including the cost of sand? For me, before, I wouldn't have, because the cost of sand has more than doubled since I've started my business. Now, at Wicks, kiln dried sand is £7.30 per bag. I reckon you'll use maybe 1.5 bags on that drive, depending on how big the joints are. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, down the middle of these two pieces of grass is a single layer of bricks turned sideways. They're very mossy and they'll need cleaning, because that's part of his drive. I don't know if you can see from the picture. Can you see that layer of bricks there? There's a layer of bricks here and there, so they'll need doing as well. Would you guys resand those? This is where I find out whether I'm being pedantic and OCD. Would you guys resand this single layer of bricks, or would you leave it? What surface cleaner have you got? Hypo it first, then kills the weeds, should soften them up, will make it easier for your surface cleaner. I was thinking about that today. Do you think realistically that's going to work? I was thinking, does it wilt and does it shrivel the roots and not have them cling as much to whatever's underneath? Would it make those roots sort of recede up and make it easier to pull out with the, with the surface cleaner? That is interesting. If you're leaving the hypo down for like 40 minutes maybe, let it dwell for its intended time. The only other problem I've got with that is I like to post-treat rather than pre-treat. Every time I've pre-treated, I've ended up having to wash it again. Every time I've pre-treated, I've ended up having to post-treat anyway. So I'd rather wash first, then do the chemical application, personally. So what I was saying about the sand. Before, I was doing £4 per square metre plus the cost of this sand because it got really expensive. Now, I've found that Travis Perkins, sorry if I'm boring you because you've already seen this on the last stream, but Travis Perkins are doing kiln dried sand for £3.92 for the same bag, same brand, I'm pretty sure, same weight. So what's the deal there? And I've literally got a Travis Perkins behind my house, so this is my new go-to. So 180 quid. I'm happy to include the sand in that price for the drive, and then for the, because he's a friend, I would normally sort of just throw in the rear patio and just say I'll do that. It's not a big area, I'll just do it. But considering the poor access, considering the poor drainage, and considering that the slabs are thick with weeds, it's probably going to take longer than I expect. Are you set up as a sole trader or limited? I'm set up as a sole trader. Was finding it a bit confusing how to set up as a sole trader on the Gov. Says just apply for self-assessment, no register and a business name. Yeah, when you apply for self-assessment, that's when you register your business name, I believe. Just stick an extra 10 quid on for sand maybe. Yeah, we could do that, and bearing in mind the sand is a return trip on a dry day and it's going to take you 30-40 minutes. I used to do it when I had a 15 litre per minute machine, leave hypo down for 40 minutes. Now that I've got a 33 litre per minute machine with the boiler, it eats through these types of jobs. That is where I want to be. Can you let me know what type of machine you've got? Where do you buy a machine like that? I'm very interested. And what sort of what size tank have you got to be able to run a machine like that? What size buffer tank have you got? You reckon extra 10 quid for the sand? Okay, so let's go. Let's just say, hi Carl, sorry for the delay in getting back to you. It's only been a day, but it's worth just letting them know that you're normally on the ball. Please see your quote below. 45 meter squared driveway, wash. I can't type. Resand driveway. What I'll do here is I'm going to split the cost. So instead of saying it's going to be 180 quid to wash it and then £10 to sand it, what I'm going to do, because it's not going to cost me £10 to sand it, it's going to cost me probably about £8 in materials and a morning in labour. So let's reduce the cost of the driveway to to maybe 155, and then the sand can be 35, and then we're back up to 190, which is where we were before. And that looks like you're getting a cheap driveway wash, and you've just accounted for the cost of the sand as well. So it looks more reasonable like this, I think. Let me know what you guys think about that. Use ChatGPT. I could do. We need to do that on stream one night. That'd be interesting. And then let's go rear patio slabs or patio area. Rear patio wash. So normally on a patio, I'm going to go in at £3.50 per square metre, because this is generally it's going to include a chemical wash. So you're going to pressure wash it and then apply chemicals. So usually would be, how big is it? 16 metres squared, which barely seems worth it, times £3.50. Alright, 60 quid. You wouldn't go and just do the rear patio and charge them 60 quid. I would charge a minimum setup fee on any job of at least 120 to like 140 quid. It's not worth going out just to do a little patio like that for 60 quid. Even though that's what if you've got a set price of £3.50 per square metre for slabs and £4 per square metre, for example, for block paving, those are my prices, so don't worry if you've got something different. But if you've got that set price but it's a really small area, it doesn't make sense to come out just to do that little job. So at that point you want to adjust your price to reflect your minimum call out. Oh. If they say they don't want the resand, you're left with a cheap quote to wash. That is true. I've not had that before, but that is true. I've not considered that. If the customer then, if they get that quote, so let's go in at 60 quid for the rear. And I'm a bit concerned here because he says, even though he's my mate, he said we're prioritising the back. So we definitely like the back done, and based on your price we might have the front done as well. So if he just goes for the back, I've got to go and do that job for 60 quid then, haven't I? So how can I protect myself here? And he's a reasonable guy, so I'm sure he's not going to expect me to come out and just do a 60 quid patio wash, but you never know, because I wouldn't know if I was hiring a contractor, unless I stipulate below or I could say 125 quid for the rear patio, but if you get everything done at the same time, the total price will be reduced to, you know what I mean? I could do that instead. Who the hell wants to know this crap? See you later, mate. This isn't for you. If you don't want to be here, why are you bothering to comment? Do you have, or have you had any problems with running and leaving van open for unsavoury people nicking your kit? Generally, I'm checking like if I'm at the back and I can't see my van, I'm running around the corner literally every 5 to 10 minutes just to make sure everything's still there. But as soon as your machine turns off, that's probably the warning sign that they've turned your machine off, cut the hose and driven away. But I keep my keys on me. I try and keep all the doors shut, and you know, there's nothing you can do about it really. If the van's open and you can't see it and you're in a dodgy area, what can you do? Mine is a custom machine made by Conrad. Is that Conrad Greensmith at AC Pressure Washers? It's powered by a 3.6 litre Perkins wagon engine, 66 horsepower, that also powers my boiler pump. It's 33 litres per minute, and my baffle tank is 400 litres. It'll be on my page on Facebook if you want to have a look. Would you mind just shooting me a message? So I can click on it. Or is that your same? It's probably your same name on Facebook, isn't it? I'll have a look in a bit. Give him 2 quotes. I don't know. I don't want to confuse things. Give him option 1, then option 2. Don't worry about that cheeky chappy. I think I banned him. I'm not sure. I've timed him out at least. Nasty, what's going on? 29 people in the live, so I'm guessing all of these people good on kicking him out. You always get an absolute cretin popping his head in. Yeah, don't worry about it. I was used to it on Twitch. I used to live stream on Twitch, just playing video games, and you'd get the odd nutter just pop up. They like to make their voice heard, and they like to let you know that they're not enjoying what you're doing. But it's like, if you're not enjoying it, just move on. It's not worth giving them the attention. I think I'm going to go with this. I'm going to say, if you get everything done at the same time, the total price will be reduced to 155, 35, 25, 125. This is really long-winded. I'd have had it done ages ago if I wasn't doing it on stream, by the way. It doesn't normally take this long. 155, 35, 125. Uh, 315 seems a bit steep, doesn't it? I'm just going to say, look, I broke it down so you can see the price individually, which is what he wanted. So 315, and I'm reducing it to 65. So 315 minus 60. 255. Deep Blue Restorations. Let's have a look. I hope you don't mind me pulling this up on stream. I'm quite interested, to be honest. Oh, I've seen this on their Facebook page, on AC Pressure Washers Facebook page. Did you do this job recently? Because my friend said he saw someone cleaning a petrol station recently, and he thought of me. That is beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. Cracking result there, mate. Awesome. Wet sandblasting kit. Wow. Wet sandblasting. Equipped to Clean had some wet sandblasting attachments that can go onto the end of the lance. That's pretty crazy. I didn't know you could like wet sandblast Indian sandstone. I thought you'd wreck that. That looks awesome. Oh, you do roof cleaning as well? Have you got any more close-ups of your machine? Oh, here we go. Is it that? This is a post from AC Pressure Washers. Is that it? That looks like an absolute monster. Great looking setup though. How clean is that? I would love that. Just both hoses in the back of the van, just pull them both out and away you go. That's so cool. Is that your fuel tank there? Stick rear patio clean discounted to 60 due to the other work being carried out. If you get everything done at the same time, price will be the rear patio. The rear patio will be reduced to £60 due to the other work being carried out. And then I'll always get the ball rolling with the dates. So I'm available on so and so to complete to do the work. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this works. I'll also put down here the price includes a chemical treatment to remove black spots and organic staining. Resanding will be done on a dry day following the wash. What do we reckon about that quote then? Are we in agreement? Is that a reasonable price considering the cleanup? Considering I'm going to rinse the road, I'm going to have to rinse the road down to this little drain down the bottom here. Do we think that's reasonable? Yeah, that's when you know you're doing well, is when you can afford a van setup like that. Yeah, I'd say he's getting a good deal. I mean, all in for what we're saying, 155, 35 plus, if he gets it all done at the same time, plus 60 quid. My maths is terrible, I'm sorry about this. 155, 35, 60. 250 quid, I think that's reasonable. I'll send that to him after the stream, and next week I'll let you know whether it got accepted or not. Right, I've gone through pretty much everything I wanted to talk about tonight. Has anyone got any questions or anything that they want me to have a go at and going into detail about? You can have, this is like, rather than, I had to put a message out earlier because the amount of questions people are DMing me with, especially since TikTok's been blowing up. I've had 41 message requests in the last week from people on TikTok asking me about starting up their business, and then people DM me on Messenger, on Facebook. I get WhatsApp messages, I get Instagram messages, and I really want to reply to everyone and try and answer these very nuanced, specific questions, but it would literally take up my whole day. Because naturally, when you reply to someone and you answer their first question, they've then got like another 5 questions lined up, and I just can't get into conversations with people anymore because it's. I feel bad like ignoring them. Then if I can't get back to their next question because I'm driving or something, I feel like a bad person then. So these are like my opportunity. These streams are my opportunity to. I've done like a reply pointing people to these streams every Monday night so that they can get their questions ready. If they can't find the answer on Google, come and ask me on the stream and I'll do my best to answer. My dad always said, where there is muck, there is money. That's a good, what's the word? Motto. It's weird how everyone's complaining that they've got no money and inflation and everything costs too much, but people still want to get stuff cleaned. I wonder what it would take for people to stop having exterior cleaning services. I wonder how bad things will have to get. It should come up very nice too. Yeah, I'm confident that drive will come up nice. I'm not so sure about this rear patio. Although there's no reason why it wouldn't. It's going to be a lot of work to remove all these weeds and stuff. That's all. Do you always start your stream at a set time? Yeah, 5:30. Sorry, 7:30. Monday nights, 7:30. UK time. I've done like 4 weeks in a row now. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 weeks in a row. So I'm hoping that I can keep up with this schedule. I am very busy and I would love to be able to do this like every night, but it's just not realistic. Can you put get after you before everything, please? I'm dying here. Wait, what? Have I mistyped something? Oh. I don't know. Have I mistyped something somewhere? Sorry. Connor asks, how long do you leave hypo on before washing it off? Thanks for the answers to all the questions. No worries, Connor. So generally the advice is to leave it on for 40 minutes. After an hour of being mixed with water and applying to the surface, after an hour it's normally dormant. So there's you'll have no benefit leaving it on for any longer than 40 minutes, but most of the time you'll see results within 5 to 10 minutes. So it depends what you're after. It depends what sort of result you're expecting and what you want. If they're deeply ingrained black spots and you're looking to soften them up, you might want to leave it on for 40 minutes if they're not going to get rid of it altogether. Or you can do multiple applications and make it stronger and stronger. Or if you're just doing like Indian sandstone, you'll find that literally you'll apply it on one end of the patio, and by the time you've got to the other end, the black spots have already disappeared. So it depends on the surface really. I'd say at least 20 to 40 minutes, probably 20 minutes on patios. If you're not getting a result on a slab with hypo after 20 minutes, I'd say you're not going to get the result, so you might want to either reapply or wash it again now that those black spots are softer. On block paving, you probably want to go aim for more like 40 minutes. Jake asks, what do you do when the pressure washing season ends? Like when it dries up, I work full time and pressure wash on weekends. My work's building up, but I fear my jobs will run out. They absolutely will. So come end of November, end of October, end of November, you'll start to find that the jobs can completely die off unless you've got commercial work set up for the winter, which not a lot of people have. You'll have pretty much no inquiries through the winter. That was my experience anyway. So I invested quite heavily into gutter cleaning equipment, and that just about allowed me to scrape through. This year, I'm doing a whole year full time rather than starting out part time and then going full time. So this year is going to should be a better year, and I'll be in a better position by the time winter comes around. So my plan is to also save any additional I get every month. I'm saving just in case I have quiet months over the winter. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying this stream, please hit the like button. You can also support there's a link to give donations or tips or whatever you want to call it underneath, if you do feel so obliged. What do you use to get the square meter of a job online? So you can use Google Earth. Someone showed me the other day you can use actually Google Maps as well. It's a bit more difficult on Google Maps. If you use Google Earth, there's a measuring tool. You can place down as many points as you like. You can move them around. It'll give you the perimeter and it'll give you the area in meters squared. And you can change to like feet squared, and there's a couple of others on there, I think. I wouldn't rely on it too heavily because, like I said earlier, if some of these areas are shaded, they're completely black. It's a very low resolution image. And you also want to check the date in the bottom corner. So anytime you do a Google Earth search and you get the 2D projection, at the bottom left hand corner there'll be a date of when that image was taken. Some of them are over 11 years old, and so you'll find that the drive has actually changed. It's like it used to be tarmac, and now it's like it used to be a single tarmac drive, and now it's a triple block paved drive. Always look at Street View as well, because Street View images are usually a bit newer in my experience. Hope that helps. Hey Dave, you're right. Squeaky Clean Dave's here. I started in 2007, 6 months before the recession. It was the same then. People still spend money on their property rather than moving house. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because you've got two choices, haven't you? You either move to a nicer house or you improve the one you've got. And one of the ways of improving your house is to clean it. You can do a lot with a pressure washer to like improve the curb appeal of your house, to be fair. If you're looking at selling a house and you've got a block paved drive, that could be massive. You could probably add thousands onto the value of the house just by having a clean drive, just by making it look fresh. If you've got all weeds and stuff and black spots and dark patches all over it, the curb appeal, not good. Reminder to set a 7:30 p.m. alarm. Hope all goes well in your future jobs. Thanks, Nasty. Yeah, everyone live streams every Monday night, hopefully 7:30. Yeah, set a little reminder to yourself, or better yet, I think there's a notification bell that you can hit on the stream, and that will send you an alert. It'll send you a notification when I go live and when I upload a video. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Hiya, Shane. You're right. How's it going, Jordan? You're right. That's everything I had planned tonight. Unless anyone's got anything specific they want to ask before I go, I'll probably end the stream in the next 7 or 8 minutes. So if there's anything you want to talk about, let me know. I can extend it. We can go for another half an hour. We can go for another hour. I don't mind. But I've spoke about everything I wanted to speak about tonight, so. I have been busy, yeah, mate. I've actually, it's something I can let you know about. I had a phone call with my accountant tonight. So I did all my books for last year. I did my spreadsheet. I've literally just got one spreadsheet where I'm putting all my expenses, and I'm putting all my income. Expenses in one column, income in another column. And then I take my expenses off of my income. Then I'm left with my profit. And then you can work out how much tax you owe based on the profit you've made. It's a really neat way of doing it. And you can do it so that it's like a running total. So at any one point throughout the year, I do it every month now, but any one point throughout the year, you can check your running total and make sure you've got enough in savings. Make sure that number corresponds to how much money you've got in your savings. And last year I weren't very good at it because I haven't really figured out a good sort of workflow to keep on top of everything. But I did my best. And I got a call from my accountant after he'd finished sorting everything out, and he's added stuff and he's removed things and he's sort of added things on that I wouldn't have thought of, and sort of said, "Oh, you've had to do this, you've had to spend money on this. Have you taken that into consideration because that's a work expense as well, and because of all the setup costs." Regardless of how much profit I've taken this year, the amount that I've spent in buying, purchasing equipment in the first place and purchasing the van and all that sort of stuff, it turns out I only need to pay about 260 quid's worth of tax. So that's a good result, that is. I'm pleased with that. And I've obviously I've saved a decent amount more than that, but he's reduced that down and made it so I don't have to actually pay that much. And next year, he sort of explained to me that if you're ever going to consider, if you ever need to remortgage your house, or you want to apply for loans and whatever, you need to prove to the banks that you're actually earning enough. So you can't do that every year. You can't just pay 260 quid in tax every year. The first year, it doesn't matter because you've got all your setup costs and whatever. The second year needs to be a lot stronger. You need to prove to them that you're actually earning money. So I can expect to pay a lot more tax next year. And now that I'm on top of it and I know exactly how much I need to put away, I can only like win from this situation. So as long as I'm putting the maximum amount away that I need to put away, so I'm doing like 29%. So that's tax and national insurance. I'm putting all that into a separate savings account, the exact amount that I need. And then once he does the books and once he sorts it all out and adds his stuff that he needs to add, and hopefully that figure is going to be lower than what I've got saved, and then I'll have a nice little bonus for myself at the end of the year. Oh, that wasn't your machine. Oh. Jordan, it's been very busy. This has been my busiest like the season went crazy. My phone's been on fire with messages and stuff, and I think most of it is down to all the videos and stuff that I'm putting out on all the different social media platforms. I think that's the reason why I'm to be like a new business, and for it to be going this well already. It's got to be down to like the social media side of things, because I'm not doing any other advertising. Anyone else in my position that isn't doing as well on social media, I don't think they'd have the amount of work coming in that I've got at the moment. So I always tell people, like, don't base, just because you've started a new business, don't base your expectations off of my experience, because everyone's going to be starting from a different point. Everyone's got a different they've got a different starting point, a different budget to invest into, like the initial setup. People have families, people have responsibilities, and not everyone's starting from the same base. So don't look at what everyone else is doing. And if you're thinking of going into business and setting up your own thing, think about what you need. Think about the time you can invest into it. Think about realistically how much money you want to put into it, sensibly. And if you feel like you could potentially turn a profit, and you can transition from what you're doing at the moment into this business, and you're sensible and you're committed, there's no reason why anyone can't do it. I was in a full-time job. I was miserable. I've got a family. I've got 2 kids, a dog, and a cat, and a mortgage. And I couldn't afford for this business to fail. And so I made sure that I did everything I possibly could to make it succeed. I'm looking for a similar sheet. Do you make it or buy it from somewhere? What do you mean, a sheet? Looking for a similar sheet. Was I talking about a sheet? I can't remember what I was talking about, I'm sorry. Oh, you're talking about like a spreadsheet. I could do it in a video if anyone's interested in how I do my spreadsheet. It's quite cool with all the formulas and stuff and the running totals. And shall I just do a video of it at some point in the next few days? Are you fixed cost for the year quite high then because of the equipment? Yeah, so the initial outlay for things like my van was like £3,000. My pressure washer was less than £1,000. I bought 2 gutter vacuums. That's like almost £2,000. uniform, not this one. I wouldn't wear that one. Uniform, fuel. So the initial outlay in all the equipment is one thing, but then the stuff I need to actually do the job, like fuel and chemicals and materials and stuff, that's all on top of that as well. So it's a lot. It is, when you're running a business. I mean, but the ratio is good. Like once you've got the equipment, the ratio of what you can charge compared to your outlay for each job is really good. So generally, once you've got all your equipment set up, you're only paying for fuel and sand, but you're incorporating that into your quote, and so the customer's paying for it, and so your profit margins can be generally a lot bigger than a lot of other trades, a lot of other industries. Things like that's why I struggle with the whole idea of window cleaning, is because what you're making £12 to £15 maybe on each house, and what if those houses are spread out, and the amount of time it's taking you to earn that £12 to £15 when you could spend 2 hours on a driveway and earn, up to 200 quid, sometimes 4, 8, 900 quid in a morning. You know what I mean? It's the when you're charging per square meter, this is the issue I've got with charging a day rate. You're really doing yourself out of potentially a lot of money. If you charge per square meter instead, you can well surpass your day rate. Once your tax goes over a certain amount, you will have to pay it on account. You would have to pay it on an account for next year. Yeah, so unless you're... is that if you're not VAT registered? So your accountant can say, okay, you didn't earn all this money, you actually earned this much money, and that much we're going to put on next year. I don't really know. I don't know how it all works. That's why I've got an accountant, because he sorts all that out for me. Glad you're keeping well. Been great weather for it. It's been beautiful. Almost too hot. I've been sweating in my short. I've started wearing just like these. It's easier to show you. I don't even know what material they are. Just these shorts. Just these Pumas. I started wearing these and arriving on site with my waterproofs already on, just with these underneath, because I don't want to really turn up to the customer's doorstep wearing shorts. But it's so hot I can't wear trousers underneath my waterproofs now. Your expenses spreadsheet, that would be amazing. Alright, maybe I'll do a short video on that. Probably be quite a boring video for the people that aren't interested, but I've been thinking about doing that one for a while. I saw your new equipment video with the orange fan nozzle. Looked great in the latest video. What's your next big investment into your business? That's a good question. I think my next purchase really should be an X-Jet. This makes sense for me because the last couple of drives and patios that I've done, I've been using my gardener backpack to apply the chemicals with the water-fed brush, water-fed pole. And 20 litres is the maximum capacity of the tank. So that's with the chemicals mixed. So that's like maybe 5 litres of hypo and 15 litres of water with some surfactant poured in as well. And to do this drive that I did today, I had to stop and refill that tank 3 times because they've got this bit up the side of the house as well. They've got like an additional, pretty much like a single drive up the side of the house as well. So I had to, so that took 60 litres of solution to apply the hypo onto this area. Whereas if I'd have just used an XJet, one, I could have done it in literally 2 minutes. Like as it was, I was just spraying it and brushing it with this pole, and it doesn't come out very fast. And so that probably took 45 minutes to get all that set up, to you know, pour the mixture in, add the water, brush it onto the drive. It's ran out. I pour the mixture in again, add the water. And then I've got to clean my gardener backpack out because I don't want to leave the hypo in there because it'll probably damage the pump or whatever. So that's adding so much time to my day, where if I had an XJet, I could literally click it onto the end of my lance, grab the tub of hypo out of the van, and just, and it'll probably literally be done in 2 minutes. Partridge uses an XJet to rinse as well. Yeah, I've heard you can use the nozzle on the end to rinse down. That would be a good video for us beginners. Okay, noted. I will bear that in mind. Have you seen the Equipped Clean XJet? You can have a go with mine if you like. Thanks, Dave. We were looking at it earlier. The only problem I've noticed with it is the ratios. They've only got 2 ratios that you can use on that XJet. 6:1 and 9:1, and so I don't really understand who that's aimed for. I don't know a lot of people that are using hypo at 6:1. I always use 4 or 5:1 really. It does make a big difference. Put your hypo in a 5 litre tub so you ain't carrying 25 litre drum around. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a right pain when just even pouring it into the backpack when you've got a 25 litre drum and it's splashing around everywhere. It's very nerve-wracking. Time is money. Sounds like the XJet will pay for itself very quickly. Do it, and an unboxing video. Oh, that's a good idea. Make some content out of it too. So other than the XJet, I don't know what else I need. I need some better fuel cans. I'm using at the moment to refuel my pressure washer. You know those 20 litre or 20, is it 25 litre Army fuel can? I'm literally using one of these. Oh, it's 20 litre jerry can. And trying to pour that, because my machine is inside the van and it's tucked well in there, and so I have to climb in the van, balance a funnel on top of my petrol tank on the machine, climb in there, prop myself up against the side of the van and like pour, and it's splashing everywhere. And not only is it splashing, but if I put too much in, spick and span. Hang on a minute. Thank you so much. So I've got to pour it, and if it splashes too much, it will knock the funnel off of the top of the tank and I'll get fuel everywhere. It's such a palaver. I did get a nozzle for the top of it, but it doesn't fit because mine's a really old one, and this nice fancy new nozzle, it clipped on there, but as soon as I started pouring it, it started leaking out the bottom of the nozzle. So I fancy like a plastic fuel, not those little ones. Morris Mica do like 10 litre plastic fuel cans. Oh, there's a 25 litre one there. Just because, one, it's lighter, because those metal jerry cans are so heavy anyway, with nothing in them. It just seems pointless. See, that one looks good. Yeah, I don't know. I need to figure that out. Spick and span. Smout with the X-Jet in his videos. Whoop. Maybe we'll do a... Ah, that'd be pretty cool to film, actually. Me spraying hypo everywhere. Thank you for the donation. That is very, very kind of you. I can't tell whether that's £6 or €6. It looks like euros. Either way, thank you so much for the donation. That's very kind of you. And you're already a Circle member. You're already a paid member of the channel, and you're still donating money, so thank you. Very kind. Gotta go, but have a good night and enjoy. Hopefully see you next see your next live from the start. Yep. Thank you, Jordan. 7:30 Monday nights. Use the beige insert for the X-Jet for hypo. Yeah, so we were just talking about the Equip to Clean X-Jet. I've already gone into this but they've only got two dilution ratios, 9:1 and 6:1. So I don't think I'd buy this particular one unless I'm missing something. Get a little pump to put your fuel in your tank. That's a cool idea. I'd like to see a video on someone setting that up, so you can just flick the pump on. That scares me though. Electrics around fuel just scares me. You can get a fuel pump for the jerry can. That's pretty cool. Oh, to be fair, fuel pumps are in cars, aren't they? You could just get a fuel pump hooked up to a battery. Would you have to keep recharging the battery? Look at this. Oh, is it a hand pump? No. Is that a hand pump? That is genius. That's exactly what I need. Oh. The pump can empty the jerry can in less than 35 seconds if used at full flow. Is that what I'm seeing? Is it a hand pump, or is that is what I'm looking at, isn't it? Pour the can with the hole at the highest position you can. It allows the air in and won't glug, and it will feel wrong first time you try, but it's a game changer. Controlled pour. I will, thank you. Well, hopefully I won't have to do it anymore if I get something like this. You need to get a VP Racing Sure Can petrol fuel can. I think I saw these advertised at a car show. I saw like a spill free. Yeah, I saw. Hasn't it got like a hand pump on the side or something? The guy was demonstrating it in like a TikTok video or something. Seems like a lot of money though, doesn't it? If I want 20 litres, it's almost 80 quid. That is a lot of money for a fuel can. You can buy a motocross fuel container with a good nozzle. I've met a few hand pumps in my time, like that guy earlier. Oh my god. Right guys, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for the donations. Thanks so much for the new subscriptions. Go and watch my new video if you haven't already. It came out at 5:30 today, so I'm trying to keep up with my schedule of a video every Monday at 5:30, and then we'll do a live stream 2 hours after. Yeah, Mr. Moo, I think you're right. Definitely. So X-Jet and a new fuel can, or at least a fuel pump. Next on the list. Expect a video next week. Thank you so much for watching. And thanks for the support. Thanks for coming in with all the questions. I do my best to answer them. I'm not the most experienced guy about, but I know a little bit. I've learned a lot in the last couple of years. So again, I'm just grateful that people trust me to give an honest answer. I do my best. Thanks all for joining. The numbers are bumping up every week. I think we had a maximum viewership last week of like 20 people, and this week it went all the way up to like 35, I think. So the streams seem to be going well. Cheers, guys. Very appreciative. See you soon.
I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. Need somebody who loves me. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. Need somebody who loves me. Somebody, somebody. Somebody, need somebody who loves me. I've been in love and lost my senses, spinning through the town. Sooner or later the fever ends and I wind up feeling down.